That we are talking to Jane Donovan from Social 8. She reckons she can teach us how to get a man to approach you in 6 seconds. Not, not just to approach you to, offer you a lolly or anything like that, or perhaps offer to fill up your car with petrol. This is for a man to approach you romantically in 6 seconds. We might have to test that out. We'll be back in just a moment.
1395. Amanda Blair.
Jane Donovan joins us from Social 8. I think this is very tempting and tantalising indeed. On my run sheet, Monique's just put Jane Donovan, Social 8, how to get a man to approach you in 6 seconds.
I thought you'd have a bit of fun with that.
Yes. I know. What are you meaning?
Okay. All right. Look, first off, this is about a bit of fun. This is not something that people have to do.
Right.
However, I have put this to the test with numerous members, both men and women, and it's had extraordinary results. So,
really?
Yeah.
Right.
Look, what it's about is men need to be given a clear signal that it's safe for them to approach you. Because if they're out and about, so many people are married, in relationships, not desiring someone to approach them. And as men get older, so this works particularly well for anyone that's over in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond.
And this should only be used if you're in fact single and you're looking to get someone to approach you.
That's absolutely right.
Don't go using this trick if you don't want anyone to approach you.
That's it. Okay, so what happens is that, first off, if the girls, they go out, they might have gone to a party or a bar or somewhere, don't travel in packs. Like, you need to break away from your group of girls and be solo. So walk over to the bar and find a little spot that you can be comfortable standing, and then as you find somebody that you like the look of, so this is just an initial meeting somebody, seeing them across the room and you like the look of them, you actually make eye contact with them and hold the stare for 6 seconds, which is a long time. And this is where it's actually quite hard to do.
Let's do it.
Okay,
ready?
you ready? Okay, so who's staring at who? You
I'll
or me?
At you. Hang on, 37, 38, 39, 40, go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a long time,
that is a
isn't
long
it?
time.
So what actually happens, though, is that if the girls can kind of suck it up and just do it, take a deep breath and just do it. Now, you're not allowed to look away. If your eyes deviate and go to the person next to you, what's going to happen first off is the guy's going to catch your eye and think, she's checking me out. And then he's going to look around to see, is she checking out the person next to me? His mate or whoever is next to him. So he's going to break eye contact, look away. Then he's going to look back and go, she's still looking at me. Surely not. And he looks the other way and then comes back and says, no, she's still looking at me. There's no one else here. So even though it feels a long time, he's actually broken eye contact usually twice in that period of 6 seconds. So it's really only a second or two, a break, a second or two, a break, a second or two. But what the woman has done is given a very clear signal to him. He is not going to be rejected.
Do you know what? This happens a lot in gay world, but it's called the cruise.
Oh, is it called the cruise?
Yeah, it's called the cruise. Well, at least it was when I was, hanging around with just lots of gay men.
Yes.
Yeah, and what they do is like when you walk down the street, because some of my gay friends were quite, attractive and a bit sexy. So you'd be walking down the street with them and I would always watch and I would see the blokes coming towards them. And the bloke, and they did. They locked eyes. And they'd both lock eyes and I'd think to myself, oh my God. And I'd go, he just completely cruised you. And he'd go, yeah, I know. And that's what it was.
They know. It's a clear signal. Now, when I first started putting this out there, and I wrote a little article about it for our members, I was surprised. I thought I'd get all these girls going, oh, I can't do it, or I'll try it, or whatever. The response I got overwhelmingly was from intelligent men saying to me, thank you. That's the sort of clear signal that we need a woman to give us, so we know it's okay to approach.
Because, fundamentally, blokes aren't going to approach a woman because they're so scared of rejection.
That's it. And
they're so scared of rejection.
And as they get older, they have more and more of it. It's just not a place they want to go. So as women, we get clever. Let's make them feel safe to approach us, and that's the best way to do it. Now, if he doesn't approach you after you've given the 6 second rule, one of 3 things has happened. First off, you're not his type, and that is absolutely okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. The second thing is that he's not single. Again, that's terrific. And the third thing, he's gay.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those
In which
friends,
case, he
they're all
might want to go
genuine.
and do the cruise on a male in the
That's
room.
it.
Because that's what they do.
Absolutely. So, well, that's brilliant. And, you know, it's interesting when you watch, I was just watching a trash show. What is it? Something from Essex. I don't know if you've seen it. It's
No, I
Botox and orange skin and big boobs, and it's hilarious, and false eyelashes. I'm quite addicted to this absolute trashy show. But they do the 6-second stare all the way through it. It's a reality show, and it's like one of those housewife things, kind of like that.
But that's where you
They
get it
do
from.
this 6-second stare thing, and it works. It works everywhere. So,
And you know what I like about it is that it's not sleazy.
no.
Like it's not, you know. So seriously, if you were
not
single, if
flashing.
you're in your 70s, for instance, and I'm being quite serious here,
Yes.
and you're playing bingo or you're, you know, on a bushwalking group or whatever,
Yep.
that's just a really simple, easy way.
That's right.
A non-confrontational way of letting someone know that you can be approached.
Absolutely, and it's fun. So the most important thing, though, is that, you know, if girls try this, is that you might have to practice it a little bit. So practice it if you want on somebody that you think you'd enjoy talking to, but you're not particularly.
Can
don't
men
mind
do
either
it
way.
too?
Yes, yes. I've mainly encouraged women to do it because I think it's important that men lead in the early stages of dating.
Do you?
Yeah,
Really?
I know. Oh, I know you're going to jump on this.
No, I'm
You
not
think
jumping on
I'm
it. But
taking it
no,
back to the 1950s.
no. But Mons and I have had this conversation before, because she's, you know, kind of on the market a bit, you know,
Ah.
and she's just scowled at me. Well, you know, that's good, Mons. You got to advertise that fact. You never know who's listening. Could be your future husband could be listening to this broadcast right now. But I always say to her, don't be so stupid. Because she'll do something like she might meet someone and then she'll go, right, I've got to wait for them to call me.
Good
and I
girl,
go,
Mum.
don't be
Good
ridiculous.
girl. Totally. Okay, I know. There's the women's lib movement, of which I'm a big part of, is going to feel that I've said
No,
it right
no,
back.
not at all.
But this is one of the issues that we've had, is wonderfully, incredibly intelligent career women that know exactly what it takes to be successful in life. So they know to be successful in their careers, in their family, in their friendship groups, in their hobbies and interests. And then they get this gorgeous man come into their life and they know how to make a successful relationship. So they go into controlling it very early. No problems with that at all. And men will actually be a little bit more, I'm generalising dreadfully,
No,
may
that's
I add,
fine.
but men will be quite flexible and they'll follow a woman's lead. So if a woman is controlling, you know, let's do this, or I've got this on the weekend, would you like to come, or blah, 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 blah,
She's frowning now out there.
then
Yes.
the man will follow the woman's lead. In 12 months' time, the woman's going to be screeching at him, you never show any initiative, how come I have to organise everything, blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah.
happened to me.
Me too.
That's what I've said to Michael. Why is it that we organise date night, but yet I've got to organise
Oh, well,
everything?
there you go. See? There you are. So that's why I encourage in the early stages for a man to take the lead. But also, Mon's right. You know what? I'm going to put some words in her mouth without having spoken to her about this, but a gorgeous prize. She's an absolute prize to somebody.
Yeah,
you know,
catch.
standards high.
Catch. I'm trying to marry her
Absolutely
off
great
with my
catch.
brother-in-law, actually. I hope he's listening, Andy. She'd be very good for you, and we'd love her in the Farquharson family.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Well, that's a high honour to have bestowed upon you.
Can you
That's
imagine?
beautiful.
We'd have so much fun.
Dangerous Christmas Day. Oh my
I'd
gosh.
still be yabbering away in the old person's home. She'd be able to come and see me. Bring me cakes and tea. Be
Family
great.
obligations.
I know, I love that. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm talking to Jane Donovan. She's from Social 8. Give us a ring if you've got any dating questions. And quite seriously, if you're, you know, in your 60s or your 70s,
Yes.
second time round, if you've got any queries at all, if you're nervous about going onto the dating scene, give us a ring, 8223 0000, and I'm sure that Jane Donovan from Social 8 can help you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Every Amanda Blair.
Email on air at 5AA.com.au.
Interactive Radio. 1395 Adelaide's 5AA.
Jane Donovan joins us. She's from Social 8. Now, just tell people what Social 8 is again, please.
Okay.
Because I was talking to someone the other day who's come out of a long-term marriage and they're in their 60s. And I said, female, and I said, you know what? You need to go and do this Social 8 stuff.
Oh, aren't you beautiful?
No,
Thank
but
you
I
so
think it's a
much.
really good way of getting back into the
It
scene.
is. It is. Look, it's a social club that is for single people to meet each other. So we take the pressure off it being about finding a partner or dating. although there is plenty of that goes on, our primary thing is to provide social opportunities for people to meet. And they're not meeting just at a bar in a big room. There's always a focus. So whether it's a dinner for 6 people, 3 ladies, 3 men, whether it's, we've got a painting class coming up. Today I just released a photographic. We're going to do a walk through the CBD with a photographer giving us tips on taking digital photos. We've just had some Christmas in July nights with a band and dancing, and there's just different things. It's my bucket list. I just organise what I feel like learning and doing, and then put it out there. It's fun
because that would be such a non-confrontational way for people.
Exactly, that's it. It's about making people feel good about themselves and relaxing and being authentic and having fun. Fun is my mantra.
And what age groups are you?
We go from 30 up to early 70s.
Well, that's great, isn't it?
In fact, for the people that are 60 and over, look, if they're younger and want to come, they're welcome to. We've got a little walk through the art gallery that we're going to be doing soon. It's just, they don't need to be a member. They can just, we'd prefer if they booked so that we knew how many were arriving. But we're just going to meet, do a couple of hours, walk through the art gallery, then go and have a wine and cake or coffee mid-afternoon in their restaurant afterwards. So,
delightful.
Great way to meet.
Monique Bowley's in here.
Yes.
Single. And we have these. It's quite funny that you're in here because you're almost like the referee, because we have these conversations where I say to her,
"Love it," like
this in a condescending tone. I go, "Listen, grasshopper." I do, and I go, "Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about." And we often come to,
and I say, "You haven't been single for how long? 10 years,
15 years.
15 years. You don't know what it's like out there, Amanda. You don't know the games that people play." So I'm telling her about it, and she doesn't believe me.
But it can't be that hard. It can't be that difficult.
It is. Okay, how are we to do a generalisation again? How are we when you met Michael?
28.
Oh, so you don't count. Sorry.
28.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that horrible? You're not allowed an opinion because you're...
Really?
It's dreadful. Of course you're allowed an opinion. But yes, unless you've been single in your 30s, 40s or 50s, etc., it's really hard to understand. I have so many amazing members at Social 8, and I get all excited and I'll, say, I met this most incredible person and this is, their interests or this is their story, all anonymously. But I'm really excited about it. And the number of people that say, well, why would they go to Social 8 then if they're that fabulous? And I think, well, where do you expect them to go to meet people? Where? If you're not interested in the pubs and clubs and you don't want to be online, where do you go? And, let's look at the whole online thing. That's just recently been some really scary stuff happen there. So can I just say, for any of your beautiful listeners online, I absolutely endorse doing everything you feel comfortable with. Keep yourself safe. Safe.
So how do you keep yourself safe?
Okay, the number one thing, if you meet somebody online, no more than 2 emails before you meet them for a coffee. You don't need to go back and forth doing a million different correspondence that goes on for too long. Otherwise, if they're wanting to just keep up this flirtatious emails back and forth, the chances are they're not single. There's over 50% of people believed on online websites, dating sites, are not single, and they're having cyber sex or cyber flirtation.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's how they're getting off.
That's right, absolutely. So, for whatever reason, their relationships are not intimate enough in their private life, and so they're going online and setting up false so IDs, etc. So this is why I suggest 2 emails back and forth is enough to know. If you've read their profile, you've asked a couple of qualifying questions, that's enough to know if you want to meet them for a coffee. Then you tell a girlfriend to, or guys, do the same thing. This is not the day of it being just, boys can be bad to girls. It can be either way. Let a friend know that you're meeting at XYZ place for coffee. Have that person phone 10 or 15 minutes after you've met that person, and you can have them check in and openly say, yep, everything seems okay. If you want to call back in half an hour, that's great. Or, I should be home within an hour, if I'm not, give me a call. And let that person know that you've got people in your life that do care about you and that are checking up with you. And you're not insulting them. You don't know this person. You've had 2 emails.
Yeah.
You don't know them. So don't worry about hurting their feelings that you're saying, I just got checked up. That make sure that you're legit and that you did turn up and you aren't racing me off.
You can be so discreet though, like you can just text. And then you can go, and then you can go to the toilet and just, text message your friend and say everything's fine.
You can do that.
But don't be dumb and get in their car, and don't be dumb and go back to their house. Not when you first meet someone.
Absolutely. No, absolutely must not. And also, don't let them know too much about yourself, surnames, where you work. Email addresses often give away a lot more information than you realise, unless you're, Hot Buns 996.
Yeah.
That's actually our latest advertising campaign is that after many months of chatting online, blah blah was ready to meet Hot Buns 996, and as he turns around the corner of the restaurants, there's a hot little bun.
It's true though, and I just think that you can't give out too much information, and sometimes there have been cases, and I know we've had people in here who deal with childhood sexual abuse, and, they've said, don't go, if you're a single mother, don't go saying, hey, this is how old my kids are, here are some photos, this is where they go to school. Just don't do it. Because, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of people are doing the right thing.
Yes.
But you always have to think about, you have to be cynical in this world, you have to think about those people that perhaps might not be.
You do.
Whose motivations are perhaps slightly evil. So you have to protect yourself and don't be naive.
And on the online, unfortunately, the statistics are pretty high. I've met 3 people that have all lost huge amounts of money to supposed people that are not, who they say they are overseas,
Yeah, be very careful. Jason is from Salisbury East, who's getting mixed signals. Gee. Who with? Oh, don't tell me the name, Jace. How are you?
I remember having one comment about the eye contact part. Just to really call that, some of us who've got eyesight problems may not actually respond to that because we won't be noticing what you're doing. So girls don't get put off if the guy's not actually smiling back or looking back, okay?
Because he may be vision impaired.
Yeah, you're just not actually noticing what they're doing.
Yeah,
so
okay, good
That's
point.
a great point,
I
Jason.
rely on girls approaching me more that way, in that case.
Good point. Right, now, who are you getting the mixed signals from?
Got a friend she's just turned 27. We've known each other for years and always been sort of jokey and very flirtatious, sexual flirtation stuff over the phone, chit-chat, that sort of stuff. Beautiful, can talk about anything, anytime, hours, and then beautiful. It's great. And it'll be out on a few dates and so on, which is fine. So it's only just a few dates, nothing too serious. But she does also now again throw in the possibility of marriage and kids in the future, which is okay. That's a positive feedback. But I can't, because I haven't always. Sometimes she'll seem like she's interested, and other times not so serious. So I use the word fish for a response. I probably shouldn't, not the word I want to use, but where you make comments and you wait for the reply to come back. Right?
And you're piecing it all together in your head, Jason, without actually asking her the question.
She takes that as me accusing her of lying or not being honest. I said, no, I'm just not sure how to take you sometimes.
Right.
So she'll get defensive. And when I asked her, I said, well, but you don't show an interest here. But I don't do that with guys. I'm not the type of girl to be all over a guy if I'm interested at all. I said, well, how will I know then when we're moving from being friendship to actually serious? She thought, I'm not sure. It will depend on the guy.
Okay. To me, it sounds like she's got conflicting thoughts, which is completely normal. At this point, she's thinking, I really like this guy and, I'm kind of into him and I maybe, sometimes I could see a future with him and other times I'm thinking, I don't know, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And that's the kind of internal dialogue that girls have go through their heads all the time. What you need to do is give her as much time as possible for her to process what's going on in private. So try to not, give her as much freedom, have a nice date, keep it as light-hearted as you can, stay away from the serious topics, try to not get caught up in girls are very good at getting guys to get trapped in there. But you mean this and I actually mean that.
Should you should you then, with someone like that who's kind of being a bit fey and being a bit elusive, should you say, well, are you interested in me? Should you, to end that kind of indecision, should you almost back them into a corner?
It depends why you're asking. So if Jason's really into this girl and you're really hoping, Jason, for her to say, yes, I'm into you, then no, you don't back her into a corner. What you need to recognise is that people fall in love at a much faster rate or slower rate. They don't fall in love at the same rate. So if let's say you've really falling for this girl, then you need to give her some time for her to fall for you. And sometimes you might find the reverse, where might have dated someone in the past who's actually fallen for you faster than you did.
It sounds like though this flirty's been going on for a while. I'd be getting a bit bored with it after a couple of years.
It depends how long. A couple of years.
Yeah,
I thought it just been a couple of days.
How long have you been flirting with each other?
5 years.
5 years.
Oh, leave her.
Yeah.
Go find a woman, not a girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
she'll
no,
say,
move
I'm
on.
interested in you.
No,
but
she's stringing you along, Jason.
She's not. She's
sorry.
playing games. No.
She's
Let her
stringing you
go.
along.
You're worthy of much more than that. You're worthy of somebody that really wants to have a lovely, healthy, loving, long-term relationship with you, not play games.
Jane Donovan from Social 8, thank you for speaking to us today.